Welcome to week 4. We spent the last 3 weeks situating creativity. This week, we're going to shift gears and talk first about the entrepreneurial culture at Michigan State University and then on entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. I'll talk about this in this week's video and also introduce our week 4 readings, cases, and Spark. In May 2014, our provost, June Uat, brought together about 60 staff and faculty members to talk about entrepreneurship at MSU. At the time, MSU had a lot of exciting entrepreneurship initiatives going on, but they were happening in different units and different departments. They were pretty scattered. They weren't connected. We didn't yet have a core home for entrepreneurial activities at the university. At a place as big as MSU, the provost knew we needed to better coordinate efforts. One of the things she challenged us to do at that meeting was engage at least 2,000 undergraduate students each year in entrepreneurial activities by fall of 2016. After this big group meeting in 2014, a smaller group of about 10 of us met over the summer to talk about how we could specifically do so, and we came up with a set of goals. First, we decided we needed to rally university-wide resources engaged in entrepreneurial activities, like the Hatch, the Hive, the Creativity Exploratory that I ran at the time, and more. Second, we developed and proposed a university-level minor in entrepreneurship that launched in fall 2016, and many of you are in this minor now. Third, we developed e-options, which allow students to pursue and get recognized for entrepreneurial projects, even in classes that aren't otherwise focused on entrepreneurship. And when we first started talking about e-options, what I pitched to the small group was an example e-option in the document design class I teach. And I suggested a student could maybe propose a separate project in the document design class where they worked on a logo and other design materials for a new nonprofit they wanted to launch. That definitely count as an e-option. And e-options are completely unique to MSU. There's no other university in the US that offers an experience like this. Fourth, we argued that every college should have an e-advisor, an academic advisor available specifically to work with students on their entrepreneurial interests. We pitched the creation of an e-core for community-based learning and projects. Entrepreneurship can't just happen on campus. It needs to happen across communities, cities, states, and countries. We suggested the development of a university-level board to oversee entrepreneurial work, projects, and activities. We also suggested, seventh, that MSU work with K-12 stakeholders and get middle and high school teachers and kids involved in entrepreneurship at MSU. And finally, recognizing that students can't be entrepreneurs just by taking a couple of classes, we suggested a huge range of co-curricular projects and opportunities. So that was the larger university broad perspective that the small group of us worked on. My next step was to convince faculty in my College of Arts and Letters, that we have a role to play in entrepreneurship. A lot of humanities faculty have a pretty old school notion that entrepreneurship happens only in business and it's always and only anchored to capitalism and money-making practices. But I argued that we have a strong role to play where social and cultural intra and entrepreneurship is concerned. I describe social and cultural entrepreneurship to my colleagues as ways in which we can pursue innovative solutions to social projects and needs, especially what we call wicked problems. And wicked problems are issues like poverty and obesity. No one field or profession can address these alone. We have to work together to help solve them. I anchored social and cultural entrepreneurship to activities close to the arts and humanities, arts and storytelling, and contributions to creative and cultural economies. And we'll talk more next week about social and cultural entrepreneurship specifically. I also shared with College of Arts and Letters faculty examples from our humanities students already engaged in entrepreneurial work, like Kalia Stapleton, who has since graduated, but back in 2014, when I was giving this presentation in my college, she was a senior in apparel and textile design and working to develop clothing lines for women transitioning from college to corporate life. So literally, one day you're shuffling to class in yoga pants and a sweatshirt, and the next day you're expected to be wearing a blouse, dress pants, and dress shoes. That's a huge economic and cultural shift for students to make. And this is not one of Kalia's pieces from that particular clothing line. I also talked about Phil Deaton and Ian Michael Terry, who are both undergrads in 2014 and were doing some internal intrapreneurial work to change people's ideas on practices of web accessibility by doing consulting with departments on campus. As for work beyond my college, the College of Arts and Letters, since May 2014, we've created an entrepreneurship and innovation hub on campus with offices in the Broad Business Complex and a website that helps connect entrepreneurs at MSU and beyond. We hired Neil Kane, our fantastic director of entrepreneurship and innovation. We have a robust curriculum of entrepreneurship-focused courses and entrepreneurial students engaged in phenomenal work, some of whom you'll read about in this week's cases. We have a robust calendar of entrepreneurship-related events on campus, and one of your assignments for this class is to go to or participate in 2 workshops, speakers, accelerators, or some other related activity this semester and produce a write-up of your experience. And the eShip website is a great place to find out about these opportunities. We've launched the university level minor we imagined way back in 2014, which has 2 core courses, and this is one of them. We also fully developed that e-option program, which allows students to engage in entrepreneurial activities outside or beyond a class. Some example e-options that people have pursued have included entering a business plan or pitch competition, taking part in a business accelerator, launching and running a crowdfunding campaign, developing and launching an app, and writing a business plan. Some more specific example activities include participating in the Broad Business Model Competition, going to Tech Week Chicago with some MSU support to do so, participating in the Hatching, going to a summer entrepreneurial boot camp, and more. Then, in fall 2017, Neil Kane and Provost Ewart got a big group of us back together again. We talked through a couple of projects you're going to hear more about in this class, specifically land grant goods and the Snares to Wares project. We talked about our curriculum and some student entrepreneurial projects. Provost Ewart congratulated Neil and us on our work so far, but raised the bar, saying, "You have a lot more work to do." This class is a part of MSU's entrepreneurial culture and will need all of you and your good ideas to keep businesses growing, creativity flowing, and innovation anchored at MSU. One of the things you'll notice about MSU's entrepreneurial orientation is that we don't just want to cultivate and support students to go out and launch new businesses. We want to support students to make change within existing organizations, to engage creativity, innovation, and an entrepreneurial mindset in an existing business. That's called intrapreneurship. One definition of intrapreneurs situates them as employees within large companies, provided freedom, time, and support to create new products, services, or systems. A great example related to this definition of intrapreneurship is Google. Google encourages employees to spend 20% of their work time thinking about projects and ideas that'll benefit and innovate at Google. Gmail was born this way. The system was first imagined in 2001 and then launched in 2004. The problem that Gmail was built to address was that no email product at the time had a good search feature built into it. And obviously Google is a specialist in search features. And second, no other web-based email system allowed users to save their mail. And Gmail launched with users having 1 gig of space to do so. Another, slightly different definition of intrapreneurship suggests that an intrapreneur is a person within an organization who uses entrepreneurial thinking and approaches to make change within the existing institution. And this change might be a new product or idea, or it might just be a better way to do work inside the organization. And Facebook is a good example of an organization that inspires and promotes intrapreneurship. For instance, Facebook regularly hosts in-house hackathons where employees are encouraged to devote a chunk of time, say 12 hours or 24 hours, to creating and prototyping a new idea or a product. The awesome button was a Facebook hackathon idea, which became the like button. Last month, there were more than 4 million likes per minute on Facebook. So if you think that entrepreneurship is limited to creating a new business, think again. Entrepreneurial thinking, practices, and processes, which we'll talk about all this semester, can be applied in a range of places and spaces. You've probably noticed that I haven't assigned a reading that defines entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship. I want us to build our own definitions of these terms during the semester, and you're doing some of this definitional work for Creativity Quest 1. Although we've spent the last 3 weeks reading and talking about creativity, the first reading for week 4 is called Creativity is Not Enough. It's from 1963, but I think the arguments made in the article are just as relevant today as they were more than 50 years ago. The second reading is a special issue of MSU's alumni magazine titled A Vision for Success. Across the issue, examples of Spartan ingenuity, creativity, and entrepreneurship are highlighted. One of our creativity cases is a project I consider to actually be one of cultural entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about cultural and social entrepreneurship next week, but this case is appropriate for this weekend. What's happening at MSU in terms of sexual assault on campus? First, you're going to read a brief article about Fashion for the Fire, a fashion show based on the experiences of sexual trauma survivors that was organized to raise funds for the Firecracker Foundation here in Lansing. Then you'll watch a video about the work of the 2 MSU students who started the project. Our second creativity case are the MSU Entrepreneurship success stories available on the eShip website. Spend some time looking through these and the work that your colleagues have done. And we have one spark for this week, and it's a short video by one of my favorite people on MSU's campus, Carl Good, the director of the Media Sandbox in the College of Communication Arts and Sciences. It's a video he made of the 18 superpowers of creative people. Creativity Quest 1, your webpage, is due this Saturday by noon. What you want to do is upload a Word document to D2L that includes your name and the direct URL to the web page that you've created. If you haven't started yet, you're in trouble and you have a lot of work to do this week. If you have a good draft going, this is a good time to spend a few more days doing some tweaking and final editing and polishing of your web content. Spend some time this week with our readings, cases, and Spark. Post a question and 2 responses on Packback, and finish your Creativity Quest 1 website and upload your URL by noon this Saturday to D2L.